Hello there, old and new friends. It's your friendly neighborhood sunshine squirrel. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have each and every one of you here. And today we're going to be talking about a pretty important decision that a lot of you out there are going to be probably making soon, and that's why you wanted to watch this video. We're going to be talking about how to decide which vet school is best. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So before we get any further along in this video, instead of asking the question, which vet school is best, we really need to be asking which vet school is best for you. Now, this question is a much better one to ask because I could go to a school and you could go to a school, the same school, and have completely different experiences and come away with completely different things. It's really important that when you're choosing a school that you're figuring out and making your list. My dad always tells me all the time, make your pros and cons list, figure out what it is about that school that's drawing you to it, how that school is going to help you, what you can bring to the table of that school, and ultimately, is that school going to create a nice launching pad for you for your career? So shameless disclaimer, I am not going to tell you guys where I went to vet school, and I'm also not going to just post up a list of vet schools that I recommend over others, just because it's really hard for me to make that decision for you because I don't know you, sadly. I would love to know you, but I don't know you personally, and I don't know what's the best fit for you, but you do. So I'm gonna try in this video to give you guys a basic outline of questions that you should be asking yourself to help you make that best decision for yourself. These are questions that I asked myself, and this is also advice that I give to individuals that I know that tell me that they want to become a vet. So the first piece of advice that I would have for you is if you have a school in mind that you're really thinking about, or if you have a couple schools in mind, research what those schools are known for, because as an alumni of that school, that's what you're going to be known for. So for example, if you research and you find out that that school is known as being a very technology advanced school, or that school is known to be really involved in public health and different things like that, it's important to know what values, what focus that school has, because it does reflect on you as a professional one day when you're practicing. And believe it or not, a lot of times connections and even job offers and different things like that can even be made based upon where you went to school and who you know and those sorts of things. Next thing is I would highly recommend that you get a rough idea of where you want to go and what you want to do in the veterinary profession. So, and the reason I say a rough idea is because often what you kind of start off down this path of being a veterinarian, you don't end up being, or even when you first start off in your career, that can change in a few years. And I think that's one of the great things about this profession is that there are so many different routes you can take. And even once you start down this profession, you're not stuck, in a certain mold. You can always branch off here or branch off there or specialize in this and that. But what I mean by that is, let's say you really want to be an equine vet. That's your dream. That's what you want to do. I would then narrow my list of vet schools down to schools that I know have a heavy equine load, have a heavy caseload, are known for equine medicine, have professors there that are forefronts in that area, so that you're making sure that the classes, that the opportunities that you're presented, you're going to get that information. You're going to learn what you need to know. And once again, you're going to make those connections with those different professors that can help you with, writing recommendations and helping you to get set up for things like internships and residencies and externships. But that being said, if you're not sure where you want to go in veterinary medicine or what you want to do, I would then say pick a school that you know has a focus on small and large, so that you can get all of those sorts of things, so that if you kind of get an idea as you're going throughout your years in school, you'll be able to feel like, you're not like, oh man, I wish I would have chosen this school, I wish I would have chosen this school, because the school that I'm at covers it too. The next piece of advice that I would give you is to visit the school. A lot of times, as I'm sure you've known in life, that things can look one way on paper, but then when you're actually there, when you're getting a feel of the type of students and the faculty and even just kind of the atmosphere of the school, it can help you to decide if this is a place where you feel comfortable and where you feel like you would fit in. I remember for myself when I visited a vet school in particular, and while I was there, everything seemed great on paper, but I didn't feel comfortable there. I didn't feel like it was home. And where I ended up going to vet school, difference was I was walking on campus there and visiting. I could see myself there. I felt at home there. And if I hadn't visited those two schools, and if I had just made the decision, solely on paper, I could have made a mistake. So it's really important to visit the school that you're interested in and to visit multiple schools. Get an idea of what else is out there. Don't put all your eggs into one basket. It's really important to see what other schools are doing, and it can even help you to have confidence in the decision that you eventually make to know, you know what, I visited these other schools and none of them compared to this school that I chose. So make sure to visit in person. So another thing to consider with the school that you choose is the location. Location, location, location. And the reason I say that is because depending upon where you live, you may or may not have a state veterinary school that you can go to. You may have to go out of state, or due to admissions requirements or different things like that, you may find yourself having to go to school out of state. It's really important that you know the area that you're moving to, know where you're going to, and know if, number one, you feel comfortable in that area, and secondly, if you're okay with moving. For myself, when I went away to veterinary school, my state does not have a veterinary school, and so I had to go out of state. And so for me, it was definitely an adjustment because I had to move away from my family and my friends. When I was in my undergraduate degree program, I also was out of state, but I was pretty close for most of my time. I did a year that was kind of further away, but most of the time I was really close. And then with going away to vet school, it was 4 years of being miles upon miles, states upon states away from my family. And that was definitely a challenge, and I don't think it was something that I necessarily fully comprehended when I made that decision. So if that's something that could be a challenge, or if you are in the position where, let's say, you are married or things like that, it's definitely something that you need to think about and you need to really consider. The piece of advice that I would give you is to talk to current and former students. It really helps you to get an idea of the day-to-day life that occurs there. And then when you talk to former students, it helps you to know, did they feel like when they graduated from the school that they were prepared? Did they feel like they could hit the ground running and go out and be in practice? And I would say, reach out to the school that you're interested in. They should be able to put you in contact with students there that you can talk to. And I would even encourage you to talk to students from all different years, all different backgrounds, in-state, out-of-state, all sorts of things. So you can get lots of different opinions. The next piece of advice that I would give you is to figure out what are the specific requirements for that school. So for example, I'll let you guys know myself, when I was in my undergraduate degree program, due to AP credit, I was able to graduate a little bit earlier from college. And when I was focusing on different schools that I wanted to apply for vet school, one of the schools that I was very interested in told me that I would have to wait an extra year because they wanted all of your core requirements to be completed by a certain date, and because mine were completed a little bit after that date because I graduated early, they wanted me to wait. So I had to make this decision of whether or not I wanted to wait a year before going to this school, or if I wanted to go to another school and take advantage of that early start that I got. So it's really important to know what the specific school that you're interested in wants, and I think about sometimes some schools as well differ on their prerequisites, different courses that they want to see, different types of courses. For example, some vet schools want to see an animal science, an animal nutrition course. Some schools may even differ in research requirements. So try to figure out, and I would say ideally, you know, if it's your dream school and you're kind of willing to do whatever it takes to get there, then maybe it's not much as a sacrifice, you know, to take a few extra classes or to do a few extra you know, research projects and things like that. But it is something to consider, that if there's another school out there that you know that you can still get a wonderful education from, that you feel great about, and that you already met their requirements, you kind of got to make that decision of which one, you know, is going to be the best for you. And then the last piece of advice that I'm going to give you guys is the one that no one ever wants to talk about, and that is the financial side of things. Point blank, vet school is very, very expensive. If you go in-state, your tuition is most likely going to be significantly cheaper than if you're an out-of-stater. There are some schools out there that in-state and out-of-state tuition is the same. However, the financial piece is extremely important to consider. If you are going out of state, you need to consider as well that it's not just the tuition that you're paying for, but it's also finding a place to live. If you're in the place where, let's say, you have to make flying arrangements to fly back home to visit family and friends, you're going to be paying for airfare. And, you know, these are all those sorts of things that at the surface level you may not think about, or when you're just thinking about the initial commitment of vet school of, okay, well, I need this for tuition or whatever. But it's all of it. It's the life side of things. It's where you're going to live, how you're going to pay for food, how you're going to pay for gas. All of those things complete the picture. So just make sure that you're also considering the financial commitment that you're going to have to make no matter which school you choose. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below if you found this video helpful, and any other advice or guidance that you would give for someone that's trying to decide on which school to choose. And also let me know in the comments below if there's any topics or any questions that you guys really want to ask, or make sure that we engage in on this channel. Make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more. It really does help the channel. And thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Bye.